There's a power there that doesn't rise above. This is the way we think. We use the term, you can rise above it. It's not what Jesus is asking us to do. He's actually asking us to go below it. I know it's a lowly position. I know it can be a lonely position at times underneath that cross. I know it's beneath you to do that. This is a nice way of saying you're above it, aren't you? You need to learn how to get beneath it, because there's power there. Said before that they were blind, so we'll end with this. Mary, would you go to Mark 10, the 36th verse?
And he said to them, "What do you want me to do for you?"
That was his response when they said, "We want you to do whatever we ask of you." Would you drop down to verses 46 through 52?
Then they came to Jericho, and as he was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a large crowd, a blind beggar named Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the road. When he heard that it was Jesus the Nazarene, he began to cry out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Many were sternly telling him to be quiet, but he kept crying out all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And Jesus stopped and said, "Call him here." So they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take courage, stand up. He is calling for you." Throwing aside his cloak, he jumped up and came to Jesus. Answering him, Jesus said, "What do you want me to do for you?"
And what's he saying to blind Bartimaeus? And what did he say to James and John? One is totally blind. The other one is spiritually blind. Blind Bartimaeus is seeing more clearly by calling out to Jesus in his natural blindness than James and John were in their spiritual blindness. Jesus' response is the same to blindness. What do you want me to do for you?
And the blind man said to him, "Rabboni, I want to regain my sight." And Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and began following him on the road.
Tonight I wish there was 100 people here so I could say to them, your faith has made you well. The reason why I say that is this. All of us in here, more times than not, we're led by our feelings instead of leading our feelings. And underneath that, there's something that drives us, something that's unsettled, whether it's a fear, an anger, whatever it might be. There's something underneath there. And Jesus says to all of us, your faith has made you well. You have the Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord has come upon you. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. You do not have to be dragged around by your feelings. You can. You have the power. You've got my love upon you to do whatever is necessary in every situation. You are not a slave, you're a son. This is not a legal requirement. This is the outworking of love in our lives. That is the only way that we're going to know the power of unity. When we refuse to separate ourselves from anybody in any situation over anything. There is a power in unity. And Paul said, if we can keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace, we will enjoy the power of love. So people will come to know God and be restored. Spiritual sight, natural sight, whatever. And you could almost hear the Spirit saying, do you see what I mean? Our faith has made us well, and our faith has made us one. That's what it goes on to say in Ephesians 4. One faith, one Father, one God, one Spirit.